update. So I've been jobbing on it a little bit. So here's what we got. I was able to get the canister in. So there's a carbon canister. It's hidden under here. And the trick is you have to figure out where all these hoses go, and they're fitted. They're fitted hoses, so I'm trying to figure out where they go. The second thing is, remember when I first got this, anything plastic or rubber was melted and gone. So I've had to figure out, you know, what goes where, what it goes to, you know, how is it? I don't know. I'm not real sure why they do this, but this evap line goes to a dead end, so I don't even know why you would need the length. I mean, why not just cap it at the top? That's all it has a cap. So I'm not sure about that, but that's what the illustration shows. We've got 1/4-inch fuel line. So I installed the fuel pump right there. This is run, so basically the engine runs, there'll be a vacuum that it pulses. As it pulses, it sucks fuel in from here and pushes it from here to the carburetor. So what I don't have is I don't have this line right here. I'm sure that Kohler has a prefab, you know, their size of line. So what I'm doing is I know the inside diameter is 1/4 inch. I don't care what the outside diameter is. I know the Ace Hardware sells evap line, believe it or not. It's also the same thing you use for your windshield washer fluid. So I'm gonna try that. You may remember a very early video, I didn't know what those 2 holes were in the bottom of the oil filter. It was for the oil cooler. So I had to order a new oil filter housing, and so it comes with a cooler. So I've got that on here. The other thing is I've got this voltage regulator. I'm praying to Jesus it works because I bought it used, but it mounts to the plastic up here. And again, anything was plastic was gone. So I know that the screw that fits on here that mounts this bracket is the exact same as this guy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to Ace Hardware and see if I can get some of these. I also ordered the grass guard for the top of the mower, this guy, and there's some prefab holes on the bottom there. You can kind of see them, but it didn't come with screws. So I looked through my bolt bin. I found these, so I know it's a metric, but I'm not sure. So I have 2, I need 3. And I think the head needs to be a little bit wider so it holds the pan down, unless I would use a washer. So Ace Hardware has been really cool with having all that stuff. So I think as long as I go get the line, come back. Oh, and I need clips. So my fuel line I ordered online has these clips. So they're good for the 1/4-inch fuel line, but the evap lines on here, outside diameter is bigger than 1/4-inch. So I have an old rusted one that I pulled off, a burnt one. So I'll have the size. So I'm gonna take that with me to Ace. I know Ace Hardware has those. So I'll get about 10 of them. What else? I think that's about it. So basically get to the point where I just need lines, and then hopefully right after that, next step after I put these, and I don't know if you saw in the video too, I had to take the exhaust off. I finally figured out where the linkage went. Here's your choke linkage. I tightened it up. It might need to be a little tighter. It's a little loose, but it works. And then I also have the throttle linkage. I couldn't get the throttle linkage. You had to take the stupid exhaust off. So about the 5th time I've taken the exhaust off. So I learned my lesson there. Other than that, the housing is buttoned up. So it's coming right along. Couple small mods here. So yeah, got to get some supplies. Just keep pressing forward, install all the stuff. Hopefully get the motor on the thing today. The fender came in, so I'd like to start messing with something besides the motor for a while. Maybe start installing the fenders. I've got the new hydraulic reservoir that melted. You know, let's get it back together. All right, so stay tuned. Here we go. you, this thing, this lawnmower is taking me a while, but I had to go yesterday, as I said, I had to get some parts. I'm questioning some of this fuel line that I already have because it's really stretchy. Kind of like, I got it on Amazon. It was cheap, but it flexes a lot, and I'm just worried because I was reading online about you know, so this is a fuel line. You see how thick it is. The other one I have, let's see if I can show you a piece of it. I just don't know. I mean, it's not very rugged. I mean, it's same. I think it's the same inside diameter. It's a quarter inch, but you want to be careful. I mean, fuel line, if it gets ruptured, gets a hole, gets a pinhole, if it breathes. So this stuff's made in China. I got this stuff at Ace Hardware. It's I mean, it's pretty rugged stuff. So I think I'm gonna go with this. I may run this to the tank. That's the other challenge I have. Leaving, I don't know. I don't know if I want to use this stuff. I mean, you can smush it. I mean, that's what's weird about this stuff. I just don't trust it. And I can stretch it, and even on their description it said stretchy. So so I think I'm gonna run this ruggeder stuff because I just don't trust. So we're almost got the engine together. That's a Command Pro right there, man. So I also figured out where this vacuum line went right here. It actually plugs into the side of the block over here. The Kohler manual does not tell you anything about their vacuum lines. So I wasn't even sure that the top of the carburetor, that was, I mean, it looked like a vacuum line, but it didn't say, and there's no illustration in the Kohler CV742 manual. I went online, looked in their manuals. So, you know, the way I found it was a drawing of this. And actually, there's another piece here on the side of this air filter. So it calls out, I don't even know why they put it there, but they put a tip there and they cover this, they call this thing a little masking thing. It's a little rubber thing that goes on it. And I finally saw it in a diagram. So the diagram in the book that I have doesn't show it. It shows that or a line. So the problem with these engines, as I was saying before, you gotta be careful what book you're reading, because even though I had a CV742, you have to look for the -3011. But even then, there's different models that, you know, Kubota will use with this, and there's different applications. So long story short, I've got to order this little bitty 95-cent rubber thing that goes on here so that it doesn't suck air down here, and as a vacuum port. Why put it there if you're not going to use it? I don't know, but they may use this on, they may use this on more engines than just you know, this application. So it's been a little tricky figuring this out. So so let's get her done. So I got all these parts. I've got all the now I can finally I had to go buy the clips to hold the lines down. So I finally got that at Ace Hardware yesterday. So hopefully by end of today I can have the motor on the Kubota. So that's what we're gonna try. All right. Figured out a couple things. One, vapor line came up out of the canister, vapor canister, and it actually hooked here. So this is where I had this little, it's called a masking cap. So if you read the Kohler manual, it puts this masking cap on the end of this two-way valve, if you will. Well, that's because that's where they end. That's where they end and Kubota starts. So I had to come out of the Kubota canister and I figured out that hook's there. So I had figured out that this is the vacuum line for the engine, and as the engine cranks around, it creates a vacuum pulse, and that's what pulses the fuel pump. It basically has a little diaphragm in there, back and forth. sucks fuel from the tank through the fuel filter. When you install a fuel filter, make sure the arrow flows with the fuel. Goes through there and then back to over here to the carburetor. So I'm excited that I figured that out. This is called a separator, and for this model on the Kubota, it has there's 4 lines. One comes from here, goes down to the canister. Out of the canister comes back up to a small 2-way valve right here. So I'm guessing that stops things from bleeding back and forth. I don't know. But then it comes up here and dead ends. Top of the tank right here, dead ends. And then there's 2 areas in the back of the fuel tank. So from what I was really glancing at reading, I guess there can get you can have a vapor block or something in here, and this helps prevent that. It's also part of emissions and all that new stuff with emissions, so that you're not, all the fumes from your gas tank are being, I guess, filtered through that carbon filter, so that you're not leaking that out into the air and the ozone. I don't know if that makes it run any efficient or not. So next step is Kubota wiring harness meets engine wiring harness. So I got to figure out who goes where and how. That's the next step here. So here it is. Here's the plug. So a lot of this stuff goes here, but a lot of this stuff also is control panel stuff over here, and that goes under the engine. So yeah. So I got a couple things to figure out here. So that's what you'll see next. Right on.